Princess Jia could not remember what real sleep felt like anymore. For over 40 years, her eyes had remained open, while the 3 moons of Nixia crossed the night sky. She sat now on her balcony, watching the stars and feeling the familiar ache of tiredness that never led to rest. "Your Highness." A soft voice came from behind her. Jia turned to see her attendant Kyo standing in the doorway. The young Nixian's skin glowed faintly blue in the darkness, a sign of good health that Jia herself had not displayed in decades. "What is it, Kyo?" Jia asked, her voice thin with exhaustion. "The Royal Council has finished their meeting. They wish to speak with you." Jia nodded and rose gracefully despite her weariness. Her long silver robes trailed behind her as she walked through the crystal corridors of the palace. The walls caught and scattered light in patterns that once delighted her. Now they were just another bright irritation to her sensitive eyes. In the council chamber, 5 elderly Nixians waited. Their skin colors ranged from deep purple to pale lavender, marking their different lineages. They bowed as Jia entered. "Princess," said Chief Counselor Min, his voice deep and formal. "We have reviewed all possible treatments for your condition." Jia tried not to show her lack of hope. "And what have you concluded?" Min looked uncomfortable. "We believe we must explore alternative options." "We have tried everything in the 7 sectors," Jia reminded him. "Every specialist, every technology." "Not everything," said Counselor Bo, the oldest of them. "There is one species we have not consulted." Jia raised an eyebrow. "Who?" "Humans," Min said, almost whispering the word. The princess was silent for a moment. "The Earth creatures. They only discovered faster than light travel a century ago." "Yes, Your Highness. They are young as a space-faring civilization, but their biology is unusual." Jia had seen humans in broadcasts. Small, soft creatures with flat faces and no luminescence. They seemed fragile compared to her people. "What could humans possibly know about Nixian sleep patterns?" she asked. Bo stepped forward, holding a data crystal. "Their brains work differently than any other known species. They emit neural patterns that might, we believe, interact with your unique condition." "Unique?" Jia almost laughed. That was a polite way to describe her problem. She was the only Nixian in recorded history who could not enter the sleep state. It had started after her coronation ceremony, 40 years ago. Some said it was a curse. Others blamed radiation from an unknown source. "Show me," Jia commanded. Min placed the crystal into a reader. A hologram appeared showing brain wave patterns, 1 human, 1 Nixian, and 1 that was Jia's own. "Notice how the human pattern creates a harmonic frequency with yours," Bo explained. "In theory, proximity to this pattern could stabilize your neural activity." Jia studied the dancing waves of light. "You're suggesting I need a human nearby to sleep." "We have identified a specialist," Min said carefully. "A sleep doctor named Han. He has agreed to come to Nixia." Jia turned away, looking out the tall windows of the capital city below. Millions of her people lived there, depending on her leadership. Her sleeplessness had started to affect her judgment, her memory, her ability to rule. If there was even a small chance this human could help. "How soon can this human arrive?" she asked. 3 months, Your Highness. We've already sent a ship." Jia nodded slowly. 3 more months of wakefulness. Then. Later that night, as she tried yet again to rest, Jia read the file on Dr. Han. He was not particularly remarkable for a human. 42 years old, graduate of Earth's top medical academy, specialized in sleep disorders for 15 years. Never married. No children. What made this ordinary human think he could solve what the greatest minds in the galaxy could not? The weeks passed slowly. Jia continued her royal duties despite growing weariness. She attended ceremonies, signed treaties, and reviewed military strategies. But all the while, she found herself thinking about the human who was traveling toward her world. The day Han was scheduled to arrive. The palace was in chaos. No human had ever set foot in the royal residence before. Special quarters had to be prepared with the right atmosphere mix and gravity adjustments. Jaya watched from her throne as the human shuttle landed on the palace platform. First came royal guards, then diplomatic officials, and finally, a single human man. He was smaller than she expected. His skin was a warm brown color with no glow at all. His eyes were dark and alert, taking in everything around him with obvious wonder. He wore simple clothes in Earth style, carrying only a small case that presumably held his medical equipment. When he reached the foot of her throne, he bowed deeply. "Your Royal Highness, I am Dr. Han of Earth. I am honored to be invited to your world." His voice was pleasant, with an unusual accent. Jia studied him carefully. "You believe you can cure my condition?" she asked directly. Han stood straight and met her gaze. "I believe I can help you, Your Highness. Whether that constitutes a cure remains to be seen." Jaya was surprised by his honesty. Most specialists had promised miracles. "You've traveled very far without certainty of success," she observed. Han smiled slightly. "In medicine, there are few certainties, but the theory is sound. Human neural patterns appear to have unique properties that interact with Nixian brainwaves. At minimum, my presence may help you achieve partial rest." "And at maximum?" Jaya asked. "At maximum, Your Highness, you might sleep again." Something in his calm confidence made Jaya feel a flicker of hope, a dangerous feeling after 40 years of disappointment. "You will begin your work immediately," she commanded. "I have waited long enough." Han bowed again. "As you wish, Princess. I'm ready when you are." As he was led away to his quarters, Jaya watched him go. She wondered if this unremarkable-looking human could possibly be the answer to her decades of suffering. For the first time in many years, she found herself looking forward to the night. Han stared out the window of his new quarters, amazed by the 3 moons hanging in the purple sky of Nixia. After 3 months traveling through space, he was finally here, the first human doctor to treat Nixian royalty. The thought made his stomach tight with nerves. A soft chime sounded at his door. Han opened it to find a young Nixian assistant named Ta waiting for him. "The princess requests your presence in the medical chamber," Ta said. His skin glowed a gentle green in the dim hallway. Han followed Tai through hallways made of a strange crystal that seemed to sing softly when they walked past. The palace was enormous, with ceilings so high Han could barely see them. Everything was built for the taller Nixians. The medical chamber looked nothing like hospitals on Earth. Instead of beds and machines, there were pools of glowing liquid and devices that floated in the air without support. Princess Jaya waited on a raised platform in the center of the room. Without her formal robes and crown, she looked different, still regal but somehow more real. Her silver-blue skin had a dull quality that Han recognized as a sign of extreme fatigue. "Dr. Han," she said, her voice cool, "you may begin your examination." Han bowed. "Thank you, Your Highness. May I ask how your people normally sleep? I studied Nixian physiology, but seeing it firsthand would help." Jaya gestured to Ta. "Show him." Ta lay on one of the floating platforms. His breathing slowed, and gradually his skin changed from green to a deep blue. A thin membrane slid over his eyes. "Sleep state," Jaya explained. "The color change happens as our bodies regenerate. The process typically lasts 6 hours." Han nodded and opened his medical case. He took out a small device and held it up. "This is a neural scanner. It reads brain patterns without touching you. May I?" Jaya nodded once. Han activated the scanner and watched the readings. What he saw confirmed his theories. The princess's brain patterns were chaotic, never settling into the rhythm needed for sleep. "I'd like to try something, if you'll permit it," Han said. He sat on a stool near the princess and activated another device that measured his own brain waves. "What are you doing?" Jaya asked. "Testing my theory. Please watch the display." On the floating screen between them, 2 patterns appeared. Han's steady human rhythm, and Jaya's erratic Nixian pattern. As Han remained near her, something unexpected happened. The princess's pattern began to slightly align with his. "That's interesting," Jaya said, leaning forward. "More than interesting," said an older Nixian who had been watching from the corner. "I am Dr. Su, head royal physician. What we're seeing is unprecedented." Han smiled. "Not unprecedented. Just never observed between our species before. Your Highness, your brain is trying to synchronize with mine." Jaya's eyes widened slightly. "Is that why I feel different right now?" "Different how?" Han asked. "Less sharp. My thoughts are slower." She sounded almost alarmed. "You're relaxing," Han explained, "possibly for the first time in decades. Your brain recognizes something in my neural pattern that it needs." Dr. Su moved closer, her purple skin darkening with what Han had learned was skepticism. "This is merely a temporary response. The princess's brain is simply curious about a new pattern." "Perhaps," Han admitted, "but I think it's more. I believe human brain waves operate at frequencies that complement Nixian patterns. In the princess's case, my pattern might be providing what hers has been missing." Jaya stood suddenly. "How do we proceed?" "Slowly," Han answered. "First, I'd like to spend time near you during your rest periods. No pressure to sleep, just proximity to see if the effect strengthens." "Tonight," Jaya decided. "You will attend me in my chambers tonight." Dr. Su made a shocked sound. "Your Highness, that is highly irregular." "So it is 40 years without sleep," Jaya replied sharply. That evening, Han was escorted to the royal wing of the palace. Guards lined the hallways, watching him with glowing eyes. He felt very small and very human among them. The princess's private chambers were surprisingly simple. Instead of the grand decoration Han expected, her room held only a sleep platform, a few pieces of furniture, and shelves filled with data crystals. Jaya sat by a window, wearing simple silver clothes. "Dr. Han, please sit." Han took a seat nearby. "I suggest we talk for a while. Getting to know each other might help the neural synchronization." Jaya looked surprised. "What would you like to know about me?" "Anything. What do you enjoy when you're not being a princess?" Jaya was quiet for a long moment. "I study ancient texts. Before the sleeplessness, I collected stories from across the galaxy." "Stories?" Han smiled. "What kind?" "All kinds. The Aurelian creation myths, the battle songs of Sidi, even some human legends." A hint of animation entered her voice. "Which human stories do you know?" Han asked. "I found one about a sleeping princess who could only be awakened by a specific person," Jaya said. "It seemed relevant to my situation." Han laughed softly. "Sleeping Beauty. Though in your case, we're trying to help you fall asleep, not wake up." For the first time, Jaya's mouth curved slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. "Yes, quite the opposite." They talked for hours. Han told her about Earth, his family, and his work. Jia shared stories about Nixian customs and her childhood before becoming princess. Gradually, Han noticed her speech slowing, her posture relaxing. "Your Highness," he said softly, "your skin is changing color." Jaya looked at her hands, which had shifted from silver blue to a deeper blue. "This hasn't happened in 40 years. You're starting to enter the sleep cycle," Han explained. "Don't fight it." "I'm not sure I remember how to sleep," Jaya admitted, and Han was struck by the vulnerability in her voice. "Just close your eyes," he said gently. "I'll stay nearby." Jaya lay back on her sleep platform. Han dimmed the lights and sat in a chair a few feet away. He watched as her breathing slowed and the blue of her skin deepened further. For 20 minutes, it seemed to be working. Then suddenly, Jaya gasped and sat up, her skin fading back to silver. "I can't," she said, frustration clear in her voice. "Something keeps pulling me back." Han moved his chair closer. "May I try something else?" In my research, I found that the effect might be stronger with decreased distance. Jaya nodded. Han moved to sit beside her platform, close enough that she could see his face in the dim light. Try again, he encouraged. Jaya lay back down. This time, Han began to speak in a low, steady voice, telling her a simple Earth story about stars. He watched as her eyelids grew heavy, and the membrane began to slide over them. For the first time in 40 years, Princess Jaya of Nixia slept, if only for an hour. When she woke, she looked at Han with wonder in her eyes. "You are more valuable than all the crystals in the royal treasury, human," she whispered. The news spread quickly through the palace. Princess Jaya had slept for an entire hour. Servants whispered about it in the kitchens. Guards discussed it during shift changes. The royal ministers debated what it meant in hushed voices. Han found himself suddenly important. Nixians who had ignored him now bowed slightly when he passed. Dr. Su, who had been cold toward him before, now wanted to know everything about his methods. The princess slept for only 1 hour. Su pointed out during their morning meeting. "That is hardly a solution. It's a beginning," Han replied. 1 hour is better than 0 hours. Her brain is remembering how to sleep. Minister Do, head of the Royal Security Council, frowned deeply. His skin was a dark purple that seemed to absorb light rather than glow. "And this treatment requires your continued presence." "Yes," Han said. "The closer I am to the princess, the stronger the effect." "Unacceptable," Do stated flatly. "A human cannot remain in such proximity to our ruler." Jaya, who had been listening silently, spoke up. "I will decide what is acceptable regarding my treatment, Minister." The room fell silent. Even after 40 sleepless years, Jaya commanded respect with her voice alone. "Your Highness," Do said carefully, "there are traditions to consider. No outsider has ever been permitted such access to royal quarters. No outsider has ever been able to help me sleep." Jaya countered. 1 hour of rest has given me more clarity than I've had in years. Imagine what a full night might do." Later that day, Han met with Jaya in a garden inside the palace. Strange plants with glowing leaves surrounded them, providing privacy from curious eyes. "Your minister doesn't like me," Han observed. Jaya touched a flower, watching it change color in response. "Do doesn't like change. My condition has become normal to him, to everyone. But not to you," Han said softly. "No." Jaya looked at him directly. "Do you know what it's like, Han? To watch everyone around you rest and recover while you remain forever awake?" Han shook his head. "I can only imagine." "Tonight, I want to try for longer," she said. 2 hours, maybe 3. "We'll need to adjust our approach," Han explained. "The effect seemed strongest when I was talking to you. My voice may be creating an additional synchronization pattern." Jaya nodded. "Then you will talk to me until I sleep." That evening, Han arrived at the princess's chambers to find additional guards posted outside. Inside, Dr. Su waited with monitoring equipment. "We will record everything," Su told Han. "For science, of course." Han understood the real message. "We are watching you." Jaya entered, dismissing Su with a wave. When they were alone, she said, "Ignore them. Tell me about Earth again, about the oceans." Han sat beside her sleep platform and described Earth's vast seas, the creatures that lived in them, and the sound of waves at night. As he spoke, Jaya's eyes grew heavy. Her skin began to turn blue. This time, she slept for 3 hours before waking. In the morning, Minister Do called an emergency council meeting. Han was summoned to attend. "This human treatment poses risks," Do announced to the assembled ministers. "We know nothing of this man's true intentions." "My intention is to help the princess sleep," Han said simply. "So you say," Do replied. "Yet you now have unprecedented access to our ruler." In her most vulnerable state, Chief Counselor Min leaned forward. "What exactly are you suggesting, Minister?" I suggest nothing, Do said carefully. I merely point out that Earth has much to gain from influence over Nixia. Han felt anger rise in his chest. I'm a doctor. I took an oath to help people. Human oaths mean nothing here, Do said dismissively. Enough. Jaya's voice cut through the tension. She looked more rested than Han had ever seen her. Dr. Han has done more for me in 2 days than all of you have done in 40 years. The treatment will continue. Over the next week, Han and Jia established a routine. Each night, he would sit beside her and talk softly until she slept. Each night, she slept a little longer. 5 hours, then 6. They learned that if Han left while she was sleeping, she would immediately wake. The neural connection needed to be maintained throughout. This dependence concerns me, Dr. Su said during her daily examination of the princess. What happens when Dr. Han returns to Earth? Jaya had no answer for that. One night, as Han told Jaya about Earth's changing seasons, he noticed something strange. The crystal walls of her room seemed to dim and brighten in an unusual pattern. Your Highness, he said quietly, is that normal? Jaya looked at the wall and frowned. No, that's a security breach. She touched a panel by her bed, and guards immediately entered. They searched the room and found a small device hidden near the ceiling. A spy transmitter, the guard captain explained. Someone has been watching you. Jaya's face hardened. Find who placed it. The incident made Han uneasy. That night, Jaya couldn't sleep at all. Someone doesn't want you to get better, Han said as they sat in the darkness. It seems that way, Jaya agreed. My condition has been convenient for some. A weakened princess is easier to influence. The next day, Han was working in the medical chamber when Tay rushed in. Dr. Han, come quickly. Han followed the young Nixian through the palace to his own quarters. Inside, his medical equipment lay in pieces on the floor. His notes were destroyed. Who did this? Han asked, though he had his suspicions. I don't know, Ta said, but the princess wants you to move your belongings to a room closer to hers, for safety. That evening, as Han settled into his new room, directly connected to Jaya's chambers through a side door, he felt watched. When he turned out the lights, he noticed a faint purple glow under the door to the hallway. Han opened the door suddenly. Minister Do stood there, clearly surprised. Minister, Han said calmly, can I help you? I was merely checking security in this wing, Do replied, his skin darkening with what Han now recognized as embarrassment. Of course, Han said. Good night, Minister. Later, when Han told Jaya about the encounter, she was not surprised. Do has opposed every change I've tried to make, she explained. My sleep issues have given him considerable power. He's dangerous, Han warned. Yes, Jaya agreed. But so am I when properly rested. That night, for the first time, Han sat on the edge of Jaya's sleep platform rather than in a chair beside it. The closer proximity made her fall asleep faster than ever before. As she slept peacefully, Han made a decision. He would find a way to make this treatment work permanently, even after he returned to Earth. The princess deserved to be free of both sleeplessness and those who benefited from her condition. Looking at her sleeping form, Han realized something had changed. He no longer saw her as just a patient. Jaya was becoming a friend, perhaps something more. This thought troubled him as much as it pleased him. He was a doctor. She was a princess, and they were from entirely different worlds. Han woke to alarms blaring throughout the palace. Red lights flashed in his room. He jumped up and rushed to the door connecting his quarters to Jaya's chambers. The princess was already awake, her skin pale silver with stress. 2 guards stood beside her. What's happening? Han asked. Someone tried to enter the royal wing, Jaya explained. The security system stopped them. Captain Su of the Royal Guard entered and bowed quickly. Your Highness, we caught an intruder. He had this. Su held up a small device. What is it? Han asked. A neural disruptor, Jaya said quietly. It creates brain patterns that cause pain and confusion. Han felt cold. They were coming for me. Or for me, Jaya added. Either way, the threat is growing. Later that morning, the Royal Council gathered for an emergency meeting. Minister Do was strangely absent. Where is Minister Do? Chief Counselor Min asked. Captain Su stepped forward. The minister is being questioned. The intruder works in his household. Shocked murmurs filled the room. Jaya remained calm. We cannot yet prove Do's direct involvement, she said. But this incident makes one thing clear. My recovery threatens someone's plans. Han stood quietly at the side of the room, aware of the curious glances directed his way. He was at the center of a political storm he barely understood. That afternoon, Dr. Su approached Han in the medical chamber. Her usual coldness was gone, replaced by worry. Dr. Han, we need to accelerate the princess's treatment, she said. I've analyzed your data. The neural connection grows stronger each day, but it's still not stable enough. What do you suggest? Han asked. A full night of unbroken sleep, Su replied. 8 hours minimum. It might be enough to reset her sleep cycle permanently. That would require me to stay with her all night, Han pointed out. Su's skin darkened. Yes, I'm aware, but her safety comes first. Han discussed the idea with Jaya while they walked in the palace gardens. The 3 moons were visible in the afternoon sky, a rare alignment. Dr. Su is right, Jaya said. My thinking is clearer after each sleep session, but I can feel myself sliding backward when I wake too soon. A full night would help, Han agreed, but it would also cause talk. Jaya touched a crystal flower, watching it light up. Let them talk. I'd spent 40 years putting tradition before my health. No more. That evening, Han found himself in the middle of elaborate preparations. Guards searched every corner of the royal chambers. Dr. Su set up monitoring equipment. Food and water were tested for poison. This seems extreme, Han commented as another guard checked under the sleep platform. The princess is most vulnerable during sleep, Captain Su explained. And you are her only path to recovery. We take no chances. When Jaya entered, she wore simple silver sleek clothes instead of her usual royal garments. Without her formal attire, she looked younger, more like a person than a ruler. Everyone out, she commanded. The guards and medical staff bowed and left. When they were alone, Jaya said, Tonight will be different. I can feel it. Han nodded. The longer you sleep, the stronger the effect should become. Your brain needs to remember its natural patterns. And if it works, Jaya asked, if I can sleep normally again, then you won't need me anymore, Han said with a small smile. Something like sadness crossed Jaya's face. That would be good, of course. Han sat on the edge of the sleep platform as usual. Jaya lay down, her silver-blue skin already beginning to deepen in color. Tell me about your home, she requested, as she did every night. Han began describing his small house by the sea on Earth, the sound of waves at night, the birds that visited his garden. As he spoke, Jaya's eyes grew heavy. The protective membrane slid over them. Her breathing deepened. Usually, Han would continue talking until she was fully asleep, then move to the chair nearby. Tonight, he needed to maintain the closest possible connection. Without thinking much about it, he lay down on the platform beside her, careful to maintain a respectful distance. The princess slept deeply. Hours passed. Han dozed lightly, always aware of her breathing. The monitoring equipment showed strong, stable sleep patterns. Sometime in the night, Han woke to find Jaya's hand resting lightly on his arm. Her skin glowed deep blue, the color of healthy Nixian sleep. He carefully stayed still, not wanting to disturb her. Han must have fallen into a deeper sleep himself, because the next thing he knew, there was a crash as the chamber door flew open. Minister Do stood in the doorway, flanked by 4 armed guards who weren't wearing the royal insignia. His purple skin was almost black with rage. "Arrest the human," Do shouted. "He has violated sacred law by touching the royal person." Han jumped to his feet as Jaya woke with a start. Her skin immediately faded from deep blue to pale silver. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded. "This human has taken advantage of your condition," Do accused. "Lying beside you, touching you. The law demands his execution." "The law answers to me," Jaya said coldly, rising to her feet. Despite her simple clothes, she suddenly seemed every inch the royal ruler. "And these men are not my guards." Do smiled unpleasantly. "No, they are mine, loyal to those who truly care about Nixian tradition." One of Do's men raised a weapon. Han moved instinctively, putting himself between Jia and the threat. "You would harm your princess?" Han asked in disbelief. "She is no longer fit to rule," Do declared. "Her mind is corrupted by human influence and lack of proper sleep. The council will understand when I explain." Jaya touched a panel on the wall. "Nothing happened. I've disabled the security system," Do said smugly. "No one will come to help you." Han felt Jaya's hand on his shoulder. "The first rule of Nixian royal defense," she whispered. "Always have a hidden option." She pressed a small crystal on her sleek clothes. Suddenly, the platform beneath them dropped, creating a hole in the floor. Han and Jaya fell together into darkness.